Hi, welcome to Bad Music Taste and Other Ways to Ruin Your Life. My name is Dominic.
And my name is Sam.
Sam has this week's record.
This week's record is The Best of the Runaways. This album was first released in 1982 and then repressed in 2018. The copy I have here is a repressing on black vinyl. But anyways, today's guest is Michael Mcdermott of Murphy's Law, The Bouncing Souls, and Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. How are you, Michael?
Good. How are you?
Great. So a couple of months ago, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, they did some recordings from their own houses called Together Apart. Do you guys plan on making some more of these recordings?
We did a bunch when we first started in that, and it was really early on, and so we've been sort of like just finishing them up, and they've been sort of coming down the line. There's definitely probably like 3 or 4 more maybe to come along in the future, and then we're going to try to do some other different sort of stuff as well. So, but yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, we're constantly trying to work to get that sort of. I think everybody in the world of music now is trying to figure out the new norm and the new way to do something or how to get it done. So we're no different. We're just trying to. I mean, you saw me right now. I was like, wait, audio. Oh, wait, no, you. Everybody's trying to figure out the way to do it now. So yeah, we're gonna have more of those though.
Yeah, a lot of these bands are like doing stuff from their own houses, like recording themselves playing, and then they'll put it all together in like one video.
That's sort of what sparked me to get all my in-house recording together. I had all my stuff mic'd up, but just really for me, so that when I rehearsed, I could hear everything just the way I would hear it at a gig. With the pandemic and quite honestly, those Together Apart videos. I was like, wait, I want these to sound better than a GoPro. And because it was cool at first. GoPro was great. But then, some friends of mine and other people just the quality started coming up a little bit better than just sort of holding your phone up and recording. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to get better. And it also, though, in recording myself, I'm sure if you guys, do you play instruments?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Sam, what do you play?
I play the violin, so.
So you're a real musician. Okay.
And then,
I play drums. You actually play a real instrument, like
yeah.
a classical instrument. Dominic, what do you play?
I play the drums as well, and then I play the bass and the guitar.
Yeah, see, we're the dummies here, man. Sam's trainer.
You actually play notes.
No, that's exactly it. We don't know notes. We're just drummers.
You've been playing drums for the Blackhearts for like 4 years now, but how were you approached to joining the band?
I think I'm on 5 years now. I think, but no, probably close coming into the 5. In 2006 Warped Tour, Bouncing Souls were on that run, and Joan Jett's Blackhearts were on that run. And on the Warped Tours, there's like 2 separate main stages that used to back then kind of be on an angle and close together, and like this one would play for a half hour, and as soon as this one stopped, this one would play, and you could have like everybody in the front. Then like you could have a massive, they didn't really separate the stages at that point anyway. So we were both on the same stage, and so we spent the entire summer just hanging out, drinking sodas under tents and like hanging out, riding bikes and riding BMX bikes around, going to get, catering. And we just sort of formed a friendship. Joni is probably one of the nicest people in the world. Total badass, pardon my French. Knows exactly what she wants and how to get it musically in life. So we just formed a great friendship and have been friends ever since. And then I think one of the last times she came to see the Souls that I was in the band, like 2012, we did a thing in Asbury Park called Home for the Holidays. It was 4 nights at the Stone Pony every year. It was like December 26, 27, 28, and 29.
Yeah.
It was a party. Everybody had, and we had different guests every night, played different set lists, and it was a different thing. Like one year we put we got a bingo machine, like with the balls and how they come up, like, and it's like number 16. But we did that and put all the song titles on the balls. And then,
oh wow.
had a bingo guy who sat there, Pete Peterson, and it would come up, he would do like 2 or 3 at a time. But you wouldn't know what you were going to play. And the bingo ball would come up and you go, oh, True Believers. Oh, Anthem or whatever it would be. And you would just have to play that song. So it was a kind of a fun way to sort of, keep it alive and do a show. Anyway, they came to the 2012 show. I had a really good show, and she was like, man, if I ever need a drummer, man, I'm coming for you, dude. And so,
and then she needed a drummer.
Unfortunately, Tommy had some health issues, and we all get a little older, and he's doing amazingly well. But yeah, it's just that it's really just being friends and kind of keeping up and playing good drums. But I mean, I think that half of with anything that we do is just that, forming friendships while you're on tour, forming friendships with other people in bands.
Yeah.
And just that, and staying in touch and staying up to date on your craft. And so, yeah, when the call came, I was ready. Hopefully. So yeah, it was 2015, like the winter of that, that actually came December 26th, 2015 is when I got that call.
Wow.
Wow.
It's like, I got a late Christmas present for you.
Yeah.
Present, Dominic, I did. Sure.
So you've played in a couple different hardcore bands like Murphy's Law and Warzone. You've also played in more melodic punk bands like the Bouncing Souls and the Blackhearts. Would you say you have a preference when it comes to playing the drums, like between genres?
You know what? I don't. I love all sorts of music. My mother was a classical pianist, so I had a real musician in the house, kind of like Sam. She just sort of taught me to there is really no bad music. It may not be good for you, but there's no bad music. You know what I mean? If you like Miley Cyrus, you like Miley Cyrus. If you love NoFX, you love NoFX. If you love Beethoven or Tchaikovsky or Brahms, and you can like everything, and that's the beauty. I mean, you don't have to just like one TV show. You can like all sorts of TV shows, just like music. So it's just that I don't have any preference. I practice to all different styles of music, whether and all styles of punk. So it doesn't matter whether it's melodic or more hardcore. I just sort of play anything. I just love music, and so as I get older, I feel like I almost love it more. And even with the coronavirus and us having all this downtime, I think a lot of people, if you were smart, you sort of turned it around. I mean, you guys are being productive. You're doing things. I mean, and I'm sure you've been playing a lot of violin, and I'm sure he's been playing a lot of, drums and bass and guitar. Like that's what you do. You love because you love it, so you just do it. You naturally gravitate towards it. But yeah, no, Dominic, I don't gravitate towards any particular style. I love it all. Anything. I'll play it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, because like you said, basically my entire family kind of like something different. And I'm just kind of in the middle. Since I'm the youngest of my family, I'm kind of in the middle, and everybody just like makes me try a little bit of everything.
That's it. And you know what? That's life. And if you do that and you sort of have that open mind to sort of accept a little bit from here and accept a little bit from here. I mean, if everybody was a little bit more accepting, I mean, you guys know as the youth, you guys, it's all up to you now. But if everybody was more accepting, we'd all be a better country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all bleed red. We are all the same people. I mean, I'm actually red right now, but we all bleed red, and we're all the same people. It doesn't matter what color you are, what nation you're from. Everybody gets it's just like music. There is no bad person. There just isn't. There's no bad skin tone. We all are. We all fall under Mother Earth. So.
Yeah, and I mean you're gonna find something good in every music genre, even if it's not what you prefer to listen to. You're gonna find something good in that.
If you're open, Dom, exactly, you should. And there is something cool in everything. If you love music, there is that little thing where you're like, I mean, I know a lot of people like maybe say it's an easy go-to, and I'm sure you've heard it, but a lot of people are like, I don't like country, and you're like. Okay, I mean, but have you? I mean, if there's so much country music to listen to, kind of like what you're talking about with punk rock, that there's got to be something that, you know, I bet you half the people that initially go, I don't like country music, if you were just sort of playing it in the background at like a party, they would just, you know, kind of be like, and next thing you know, you'd be like, hey, you know, you're bopping your head to that. And they'd be like,
Yeah.
What? You're like, yeah, you're totally tapping your foot to that song. You totally were tapping your foot and playing along on your leg. Like, it just, you know, there's something in everything. There really just is.
Yeah, and I mean, country music is not just Blake Shelton. Punk rock is not just the Descendants. Like, it's not just one band to defy every genre.
No. But there's a lot, and a lot of people get slightly narrow-minded, and they do have their favorite bands. You know what I mean? And I get that. You should. I mean, Descendants are one of my favorite bands. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. You know, when it's a sunny day, man, there's nothing better than the Descendants. You know, you whether you're in love or falling out of love, the Descendants, they have your heart. You know, they really.
My dad has always said that the Descendants have a song for every event in your life.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Your dad likes the Descendants?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, he's a smart old man. He knows. He knows.
Yeah, my parents are pretty much what got me into the music that I listen to, just like from going into the car and listening to like how I spent my summer vacation, and like everything sucks and stuff like that.
And Dad, yes, big up the youth. Man. Again, you guys are you're all we have left. You know, I mean, you guys can see exactly sort of what's happening. You have, you know, you don't look through rose-colored glasses, so to speak. You see kind of things how they are.
Yeah.
And you're free thinkers, and you think for yourself. So you guys know, you see what's going on. It's up to you. All us old people are counting on you guys. So. Yep. What else is going on?
Oh.
So Joan Jett and the Blackhearts were recently added to the bill for a stadium tour with Motley Crue. So how did you feel knowing a classic punk band like you guys would be touring with multiple hair metal bands?
We last Thanksgiving, there's a lot of, I live in Florida, and some of our people have family down here, so they come down for some holidays. So I found out last Thanksgiving that we were doing that, and we definitely, it was interesting. I mean, it's a different thing, you know. I mean, I think we all sort of like, you know, maybe it wasn't our cup of tea or what we would immediately again, but we all sort of have that same, like, there is no ideology that there is really nothing bad, and like, let's see what could happen. This is crazy. Like, and it's super cool when you are like more of a standout, you know, like, I mean, and I don't know if you guys have seen Joan recently or in any, but I mean, especially in the last, you know, 4.5, 5 for me, we, no matter what size stage we play on, whether we're playing when we're, you know, opening up for Heart or Boston, or we played the Four, we play in this little, it almost looks like we're at CBGB's. It looks, she is 62 inches from the front of my kick drum. Yeah. So I'm not like those big massive stages and like the drummer is like way back there. No, I am right up front, and we are all super together, and it's almost like we're in a rehearsal space on a massive stage. So for us, we kind of have that. There's that 5 of us unity that's close, and we're all, it's not like somebody's so far over there. You know, I can almost touch Kenny. I can almost touch Dougie. I can definitely pretty much touch Joan in front of me. So there is that rad closeness. So we look at it more of a challenge, and it's cool. You know, we're kind of the underdogs. We're the outcasts there. We're not like everybody else. And it's going to, you know, so, and we were really looking forward to it this summer. I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about all those guys. I mean, I'm sure they've been wild in their day, but whereas we all get older. But we were super looking forward to it. We really hope that it happens next summer. You know, fingers crossed. So we'll see.
Me and Dominic were talking before the interview, and we're like, I feel like everybody would have the same reaction to playing with Motley Crue.
Yeah.
Like, cause it's just like a household name at this point.
Yeah. Like every. I'm sorry.
Where you're like, that's something I like to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like everybody like secretly likes Motley Crue. Like
to a degree, like, well, I was one of those people. Did you guys see that movie that they did, or that?
Yeah.
the Dirt.
Yeah.
Right. So, and again, I didn't know so much about them, but just like in the country music thing, where it was like I found myself being like, yeah, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I know that song, I know that song, I know that song.
Yeah.
You know, and so I was kind of looking forward to that in the idea that
Yeah.
like, we knew, again, like what Dom said, it's a household name, and you're like, man, just to see the enormity of something like that, it's going to be fun to do, and it will be fun to do when it ever happens. So.
Yeah, because my mom, like, in, like, their day, like, when she was, like, me and Dom's age, she, like, loved Motley Crue, and she loved Joan Jett. So, like, we were planning on going to the PA show, and it was, like, a huge deal. She was, like, freaking out. It was funny.
In PA.
Huh? I'm sorry.
Pennsylvania.
Oh, well, we're from Baltimore, Maryland, but we were going to drive up to PA because we have family in PA.
Okay.
And it was gonna like be like a thing.
Joni has ties to Baltimore.
Yeah.
Yeah, just before this, we were like, she's from Towson.
Yeah, dude. And she is. Let me tell you, when I say the biggest Orioles fan,
Yeah.
the biggest Orioles fan. Like, yeah, she'll bring her phone with a game playing out to stage if it's that important. That game is crazy. And that will get propped up and it, sit down and I mean, everybody. Dougie, huge Mets fan, huge.
Yeah.
We all love baseball, so we're all baseball fans. But yeah, Joni, woo, Orioles boy, forget it. Those are her boys. She went to a Baltimore Orioles fantasy camp and to play baseball with the Orioles. That's how much she loves the Orioles. So
Yeah.
so that was in Maryland. Awesome, rad, good stuff. Maryland's a good time, man.
Yeah. So
Inner Harbor.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents actually work like in the same building right near the Inner Harbor. That's pretty cool. And I've seen they have a venue down there called the MeQ Pavilion. Like you can walk out like and like look through my dad's window and you can see these bands playing on this little pavilion.
Yeah, like that little circle pavilion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. When I came up through, when I was your age, I don't know how you guys are, but when I was in high school, I did all the high school stuff like concert band, marching band, orchestra, just so I could play with real musicians like Sam, because playing drums, in my basement. But I did all that kind of stuff, as anyone should do. But we played down at Inner Harbor at one point. We went down there and had our concert band had a little concert.
Oh wow. That's cool.
It's great. You can just like look out the window and like I've seen the Aquabats play over there just by looking out that window, and I've seen Social Distortion play out there. Maybe you can't see Mike Ness, but you can still hear him.
Yeah, you can hear the song. You're like, I know that song.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
So you guys recently put out a new song called Jeepster. Do you guys plan on putting some more new music out?
That was Joan and Dougie, and with his band, and so that wasn't necessarily us, but we did a version of our Jeepster, the four of us in that Alone Together, kind of like how I was in the Red Room like this.
Yeah,
so we're gonna put that out. That was with his band, and she was invited to do guest vocals kind of on that tribute record so that'll be coming out soon. But yeah, we're going to do our own version. We've done our own version of Jeep, and since I actually started doing recording stuff at my house, I used better mics than just the GoPro.
Yeah.
GoPro mic, for anybody who's listening, if you're doing home recordings, the GoPro is the secret weapon. Like, you have your snare mics and your overhead, your kick drum mic, all your stuff. Do all that, have all that, and still have your GoPro mic and have that just as kind of like room ambiance mic. and it's a game changer. It
You
really
can get
is.
that like echo in there.
It's a little. It makes it little fuller. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't articulate and put it into words exactly. There's been a couple of us that are trying to figure out exactly like what is it? Is it just full it up, fills it up? What is it? Full
Like,
fill?
I don't
What
know.
is it?
Yeah.
And we just can't. I don't know. It's a little
Like-
secret. There's a little something extra in there.
Like just the fact that you can hear it all like bouncing off the walls or whatever, or something like that.
Throw up a GoPro. So there you go. There's a little tip for the day. But no, we're gonna. But I think we're gonna probably start to do some stuff, which is why we've been kind of doing some recording stuff. But yeah, we're gonna start to get some stuff moving around. Just because you have to nowadays, you know. I mean, there's nothing else going on, so it's stay productive or sit and become a rock. I don't know.
Like might as well record a new album. Might as well start a podcast.
Something. I mean, like it's really true. Like it really shows in times like this what some people are made of, and you're like, you know, are you a survivor? Can you survive? You know, Robin Roberts from Good GMA, Good Morning America. She's got a good one that's make your mess your message. It's kind of like the world's mess right now.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you guys are making it your message. We're kind of making it our message. You got to just put your little thing out there. You know, put the good like this. This is good. This is good stuff. Putting good stuff out into the world. You know, nice gets nice. You know, that's really a good one. Nice gets nice. You put good out there, good comes back to you.
I mean, like Dom said, that's just kind of how it happened. We were like, you want to do this? You want to just like interview people? And we were like, yeah, sure.
And it started with just our friends, and then it turned into a very like what if thing. It was like, what if we got JR from Less Than Jake? What if we got this person? What if we got this person? And then it's still like a very what if we did this sort of thing.
Yeah. So did you interview JR?
We did, yeah.
I love JR. He's my boy. I love him so much.
Yeah, that was
that. I can't wait to see. That's going to be hysterical. I'm sure.
Oh
Is
yeah,
this
that was.
or do you edit it and then put it out?
I'm sorry.
Is this live or do you edit it and then put it out?
Oh, we just edit it and then.
Yeah, we edit.
Oh, cool,
Yeah,
cool.
like JR was. We did that a couple of months ago, and then we put it out like that Saturday.
Yeah.
I gotta see. That's so good.
That was like the first one that like our first musician that we talked to.
Yeah.
Like we had done like we had talked to a couple of our friends beforehand, and that was a lot of fun. But then we were like, what if, because Less Than Jake and the Descendants are tied for my favorite band. So we were like, what if we try to get JR from Less Than Jake, because the Descendants are going to be difficult to get. And, yeah.
Then a couple months later, we talked to Bill Stevenson and Milo. So
yeah, and then
Stevenson and Milo.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then just last week we talked to Stefan, so that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we were talking to these people, and it was like, this doesn't seem real. Like this doesn't, because I had met Milo one time before when I was super little. I actually have that photo right there. And I was super little, and I went to a showing of Filmage, and he was there because it was in Philly, and he's in Delaware, so he drove down or up or whatever. And he was there, and we were like, Milo? So,
I feel like we might have been at the same Filmage release. I didn't know you then, but I think I was there as well.
really?
Yeah. So I used to live in Philly for years and years.
No, Lancaster. That's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah. And there was this restaurant, I'm not sure what it was, but they had like this little seating area, and it said for Milo, and they had like talked to him beforehand, and he was supposed to show up, and then he never did. Like we were sitting there like just staring at the table like, when?
You're like, is he coming?
Yeah. And he never showed up, but and then went full circle. We talked to him, and it was a lot of fun.
Even better, because this is you can a little more intimate. You can actually talk to him instead of him being at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where it's just like he'll he'll never remember you. It's just that one guy that he talked to at the Filmage show. But then it's like, I did an interview with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'll remember you now. Now we're gonna have. Now see, we're backwards. Now we're gonna have to hang out at a show. Usually you hang out at a show first, and then you meet, and then you're like, let's. But this way, we did the interview.
Yeah.
It's funny because I just talked to Joan because the hurricane is going through Long Island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
Like,
out that way.
just recently, they were.
Just sort of got it, right? Like what? Yeah, like last night.
Yeah, like last night.
Yeah.
Sam's basement flooded.
My basement flooded last night.
See, you know. That's. I mean,
Yeah.
I bought a generator 4 days ago, so I thought it was. We all thought it was coming up. I mean, I'm right on the coast
Yeah.
in Florida, so I thought it was hitting. I mean, she was. Joni was up there, same spot when Sandy came through in 2012. So
Yeah.
she was like, I was like, "How you doing?" She's like, "Almost got blown away." Like, I literally 2 minutes before I got on the phone with you, I'm like texting with her and chasing a dog around the yard, trying to be like, "Come in the yard, come in."
Yeah.
I have a friend of mine who's out on tour right now doing some stuff. You might you probably heard a yip right there. That was the dog. He needed a dog watcher, so now I have a little Chihuahua, but now I have a little Min Pin as well now.
Yeah, but I was really worried because we moved recently, not recently, like 2 years ago, and our basement flooded one time, and just like a few weeks ago we got this brand new like custom SJC drum set, and we just like set it all up. There's like so much music equipment down there, and we were like, if the basement floods, but everything's okay. And I'm happy about it.
You know what you do? You tell your dad if in situations like that. I've been in. Not one of my basements, but I've had friends who have basements that could potentially flood. Build up like a little, and again, you take depending upon how tall your ceiling is, but then you just build up like a little stage. Even if you took like a 2x4, which are like 2 inches by 4, and you flip that up on its edge, so now you have 4 inches, which is tiny. I mean, that's only that's not a lot, but that 4 inches might help you if that with like 3 inch to it, a little bit, I mean, if your basement's going to flood, then you warehouse or something.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's just good, I mean, how much flooding did you get in your basement, Sam?
I mean, well, okay, so last night me and Dominic were talking, and I looked back in the laundry room, and I was like,
there's a puddle of water
there's
down
water on the floor. I was like, who spilled water? Because we have a huge freezer back there. So I thought like somebody just unplugged it. I woke up this morning and my dad was like, yeah, there was like 6 inches of water because the drain pipe got clogged. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. See, so you had like 6 inches of water. So I mean, like you take, if you, for safety purposes, like figure out how tall you want I mean, and sometimes, you build it up and you're like, well, I'm a little short now, but at least we're not going to flood, the ceiling. But,
I
mean, that's, so you have an SJC drum kit?
Yeah. Oh, it's so great. Yeah.
I have an SJC drum kit.
That's awesome.
Here's my SJC drum kit. There you go. There's your SJC drum kit. So yeah, I love SJC.
Yeah, they're very great, and we got like the natural like color on it, like the natural wood on it. Yeah, and then
it's always good to do that. You know what I mean? I know SJC makes some crazy kits, but like the kit you have now, because of it's like it having a natural color and stuff, like you'll have that kit forever, and you can play that kit from. I mean, how old are you now?
I'm 12, or gonna be 13 in like 2 weeks, but
so you're 13. When you're 30, you're still going to be playing that kit. When you're 60, you can still, because it's a nice kit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once you get out of punk rock, you start playing jazz as an old man, that's a good kit to have, and then you're playing real music. Maybe Sam will play with you then.
But yeah, for the toms, because we got one high tom and then two floor toms, it was the natural wood and then just black rims. And then for the snare, we got wood rims. Like we switched it. We got wood rims for that.
Wow.
I don't know much about like drum gear or whatnot.
That's cool. Maybe like take a picture and email it to me, and I'll send pictures of my kit.
All right.
We'll be drum buddies. I feel like I need to get you drummers for this. You're such a drummer, and I know some classical people, so I may have to come in here for Sam as well and bring a cellist or something, and be like, no, here you go, and then you'd be out because then Sam and she'd talk about music all the time. That's funny. How long? When did you get your drum kit? How long ago?
Just a few weeks ago.
Oh, really?
And we had been waiting, like, we ordered it in like January, February, sometime like that. And they were like, okay, we just started building it, and then everything hit. And my dad had been putting it off for like months at that point. He was like, if I would have just like bought it when I started thinking about it, then we would have it for the pandemic to play it then.
Yeah, because I remember like when you were first thinking about it, like you said in like January, like you were calling me and you're like, I might be getting like a new drum set, and it was like a whole thing, and it was really exciting.
Yeah, and
any musical instrument that you get is exciting.
Yeah, and it was months that we had been thinking about that, and I always think of myself as a bassist when really I guess I'm more of a drummer. And I got a new jazz bass for Christmas because my dad loves to play jazz on the drums. So, yeah.
That's right. It's cool because then you're getting well rounded. I mean, playing guitar and bass, you're leaving me. You're actually becoming a musician. You're heading more towards Sam at this point. But yeah, it's cool. There's nothing better than that. My mother. One of my greatest regrets in life is having my mother not teach me piano.
Yeah.
Because it was just right upstairs. Piano is the first percussion instrument if you think about it. And but yeah, that's one of my biggest regrets. So you playing all sorts of stuff is really awesome. That's super cool.
Yeah, and I had gotten like all the bass books where you can like learn the notes, and then lost motivation with that. It's like it's just easier to say 3 on the E and then rather than G.
I think at least it's my opinion. Let's just say, because you're 12. I mean, how long have you been playing any of these instruments? Like less than 5 years?
I've been. Like my dad's a drummer, so I've been playing the drums since I guess I was born. And then I got a guitar for my 8th birthday, stopped playing for a couple of years, then picked it back up when I was 10.
Yep.
And then played that until like Christmas, and then got my first bass.
I guess what I speak of my experience as being a drummer, and when you first kind of you first start to do it, and then you sort of head right into lessons, and at the these aren't really, they're so new. It's you don't really, they don't feel so comfortable like they do in my hands now. You know what I mean? Like after years and years, they're in my hands and they feel like another part of me. But when you start something, no matter what it is, whether you're playing soccer, baseball, whatever, violin, it's holding the bow and it's all new, you know what I mean? And I feel like you need a little bit of time to sort of just be like, let me just figure this out. And let me play some punk songs, and then I'll come back when I feel comfortable in my own skin, holding the guitar, holding the bass. I mean, you can't. I feel like when somebody gives you something like a bass and they instantly start to tell you the correct ways to do things, I think sometimes, no matter what it is, you need to sort of figure out your own way.
Yeah.
In doing things. I mean, I get it. There's a certain way to hold a knife so you don't cut yourself, but we're not talking about cutlery. We're talking about drumsticks. So it's you just need to figure it out. There's not a right way. Somebody could tell you this is how you do it, but you have to sort of figure it out yourself. I mean, with doing this, I mean, you figured out.
Yeah, it was not comfortable.
And at first, I'm sure this maybe your neck hurts a little bit. But years later now, you're walking around not even holding your violin. It's just, you're just like, I don't even need to hold it. I'm just, right? It's true.
Yeah.
But it's that. And you needed to build your neck muscles. You needed to build your shoulder. It's just all that stuff. And it just takes time. It just takes time. I mean, I feel like, if you rush into that, you're instantly told like what notes to play. It's, sometimes it can be a little off-putting, and it detracts from why you initially you wanted to learn this thing in the first place. You had this desire because it was so cool. And then sometimes for people, to instantly have it be educational, and it's a little like, oh wait, where's all the fun? I think you need to sort of figure out your own way. And then, once you figure out you know how to hold your guitar and hold your pick, you're like, okay, I'm ready for somebody to like show me how to play Coolidge,
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, now Stephen can show me how to play,
Just recently, and it's not music, but I took up skateboarding.
Yeah.
Like during the pandemic, and I like step on it, and I'm like, I know this isn't where my feet are supposed to go. It's so like the first day that you step on it, it's so uncomfortable, and within like that first week, I got so hurt, like because my driveway is on a slope, and I started riding down that, and then immediately fell off and like slid on my elbow.
Yeah.
I have some good ones of those. I have a good one here and a good one all down here.
Yeah. But I mean, now I can like step on it. I can sort of do an ollie, and you get more comfortable with it.
Yeah. You kind of found your legs, so to speak. It's true that like at first you're like, whoa, it's almost like standing on ice.
Yeah.
With no skates on, you're like, whoa. So it just takes time. Everything takes a little time to feel comfortable doing stuff, and once you do, then everything else sort of it's a natural progression. It becomes just easier from there.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to first step on it, like I first stepped on it and I just fell. Like it just slides out from under you. Yeah.
That's it? like a comedy fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I know.
Yeah.
You hurt your butt. You're like, God.
And then you like try something different. You try to run onto it, and then the same thing happens. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that
going on a hill too fast, and the board started doing this.
Yeah, like where I live is super hilly, and I went around the neighborhood one time, and it's just like this. It's essentially just a wall.
Yep. You're like, okay, I'm gonna
you just start going down it, and then it starts to go like that. I don't like this, and then you just jump off into the grass.
Yeah, you get hurt.
Because then there was like this huge lip on the sidewalk, like right down at the bottom. Like that's another thing about where I live. Like there's so many hills, and then there's like nowhere is flat. It's always like that.
I am only flat here. I'm in Florida, so we're just completely flat. Like there's no, and I ride a bike, and there's nowhere to get. I have to go over bridges that go over like water in order to get like any sort of like feeling that I'm going on a hill, literally.
Yeah.
So, other than that, no. It's.
Yeah, but I don't even like skateboard up them. I just hold the board because they're so steep. Because it's just like, ugh.
I'm a dancer, and I tried skateboarding, and no, just no, not one of the talents I have.
It's funny how we find what we're good at, what we're not good at, what we like, what we don't like. And there's some, and also though, being a musician, there's some things where you're like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to hurt myself.
Like sweep picking? I don't know how I feel about sweep picking.
Like I don't know if I want to get hurt, because then you're like you're hurt, and you can't play then you can't hold your sticks. And then you're just sitting there listening to Bill Stevenson play drums.
Like sulking.
Really,
yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I listen to Stevenson play drums.
Yeah, and I'll try to play along to the Descendants, and it's just like that the entire time on the ride cymbal. You get like a blister.
first time I tried to play with Descendants, I tried to play Enjoy, like that record.
Yeah.
All the 16ths, I had like pains shooting up my forearm, and my hand was kind of like spazzing. You know, it was like, and I just, oh yeah, no, that's all those 16th notes that he's playing. All those, yeah, he's
My hand is messed up.
Yeah. I feel like your hand's not working right because you can hear what you're doing, but you hear what he's doing. You're like,
like why can't I do that?
and then you realize you're like, oh, that's Bill Stevenson.
Yeah.
Yeah, super good. Drum ogre, so good.
Yeah.
So good.
And I mean, people always say that Neil Peart was the best drummer. And I mean, yes, Neil Peart was an amazing drummer, but he was one big fill. Yeah.
You know what? I'll say this about Neil. And I wasn't a Rush guy.
Yeah, me neither.
But again, it's one of those things where I was, I could see sort of the good in what he does, and like that, you pick out some of the stuff. He's really great. He's a very melodic drummer when you listen to him. I mean, yeah, he's got a lot of drums, so you kind of get a lot of orchestration with a lot of tones and sounds and there's a lot.
And then he's got like the electric part. Yeah.
There's there's a lot of orchestration going on there within that drum kit, and again, he plays very melodically with the use of the toms and those different tones. So it's kind of cool, I mean, and again, that was the thing for me. How we were talking about finding good stuff or bad stuff. That was the thing that I found, that I was like, I'm gonna find the thing that some good out of that, and that was my good I found. He's also the main lyricist. I didn't know if you know that he writes all the lyrics.
Yeah, there was a Rush documentary on Netflix that I watched. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Is it that R40, like the end?
Oh no, I think it was. It was like On the Lighted Stage or something like that.
Oh, cool.
And I do not like. I'm not a very big Rush fan. Like I never really got into it. It's just not my thing. But
you could see though how people, you're like, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Watched it.
Yeah. All of them like separately, and I'm gonna compare them to Primus, which is like the worst comparison ever. But they're all amazing musicians, like on their own. But I feel like if you put them all together, it's not like really the best thing. Yeah.
Funny enough, is the only time I ever saw Rush. I saw they opened up for Primus. I mean, the only time I saw Rush was when Primus opened up for Rush. Sorry. And so I saw 2 3-piece bands. I saw both bands in one night, and I was just kind of like, yeah. Tim Alexander, Primus drummer, another big drum kit kind of guy. A lot of orchestration, a lot of sounds, a lot of stuff going on there. Kind of cool. Pretty interesting.
Because Neil had like an electronic part of his drum set. Yeah.
There was a kid in my school when I was growing up, like when I was, say, in 9th grade, the kid was in 10th grade, or when I was a sophomore, he was a junior. But he was the Rush guy, and he had that drum kit. So there was already like kind of the dude doing it, and when I went to his house, I was in 11th grade, and he was in 12th grade. And he played the whole first side of Moving Pictures. Like put the record on, and I mean, because we're old. And he played, instantly started, and you're just like, wow, and played through the whole thing. And he said, when he got to YYZ, he was like, if you want the extended solo, you have to lift the needle up for me. No, you just play through the whole. It's fine. I'll just sit over here looking at him, and
I'll just watch.
And there's always going to be that Rush guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that, because I know somebody just like that. I was like, I played in a band with these 2 kids. Actually, yeah, 3 kids, and I just played drums because I already had a bassist and a guitarist and a singer, so I just played drums. And the guitarist was just obsessed with Rush, like. He was just like, okay, let's play YYZ. I was like, we're playing YYZ? Like, we're not playing YYZ.
Wait, we're 10. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Let's play something cool. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and it was just like, it was like, Rush was like the only band to him. So, yeah. Yeah.
Everybody knows a Rush guy. Now you know a Rush guy. Sam, do you know a Rush guy?
Yeah, I know who Tom's talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
it's like Rush is the only band in their mind.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, for
Yeah.
sure. No, it's true. It really is. Which you gotta love that, you know. You gotta love that
Yeah.
passion for them loving that band. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Like you can appreciate the musicianship that accompanies Rush.
oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Do you guys ever play music together?
I mean, we thought about doing stuff kind of like joking around, but I mean, I came to a few of the practices with him and like the other kids, but otherwise, no, we've never actually played.
That might be kind of cool. See that? Who's doing that? Who's playing drums and violin? Who's doing all sorts of like? You know, it's true though. Who's playing? I mean, you know, you could play guitar and violin. That'd probably be a beautiful piece of music. I could teach you some classical music, and then you could play classical guitar. You'd have to learn a whole other way to play guitar. You wouldn't have to hold a pick. You'd have to do this then, and you'd have to have a whole other weird. And then you got time. We're in a pandemic. So, I mean,
Yeah. There's pretty much time for anything right now.
Yeah.
You can learn classical guitar. I mean, if you started a podcast, you could learn.
Yeah. And
Come on, Tom.
now this was like the greatest time to start a podcast because nobody's playing shows
Everyone's available.
and it's like they're like, oh no, sorry, I'm busy. It's like, no, you're just an ass.
Like, you're not busy, Demakes. You're just wanting to do this because you're doing your own. It's funny. I'm going to be like, do the podcast.
Yeah, I've had a couple experiences with the Less Than Jake. Like they pulled me on stage a couple times,
Yeah.
and that's a lot of fun. Obviously, but yeah, one time in Annapolis they were playing this benefit show, and I started talking to this volunteer because it was totally like it was a benefit show, so it was very like spontaneous. And there was this volunteer, and she was like, oh yeah, I'm only here for Less Than Jake. And she was like the security, and then she went backstage. I guess she talked to the band, because then right after Johnny Quest, they were like, there's this kid here named Dominic, I guess he plays the bass. And then they got me on stage, and then
and Raj made you play bass?
Yeah. And I didn't, that was like 3 years ago, and I wasn't as into the bass, but like then I like really got into that. And then last year I played Johnny Quest Thanks for Sellouts on the bass for the talent show.
You know what?
Yeah. And
It's
then
cool. When you play bass, it gives you a better sense of like playing bass and drums. You know, you're sort of having all of the rhythm section right there. So you're kind of like having both foundations in your brain of like what the kick drum is going to do in relation to what notes I'm going to play, or like it's kind of cool. So it's like
because
maybe I should learn how to play bass during the pandemic. No, that's true.
Because I love to play along to stuff on the drums, and I'm on a Misfits kick right now, which is kind of like the worst kick that you could be on. The Misfits. Yeah, the Misfits are good. And while some people are maybe listening to Danzig talking about, I don't know, whatever, Jackie Kennedy, I'm listening to the drums.
Yeah. That's cool. You
so then
put on headphones and play along to the music?
I have a PA, and I'll just plug it into there, and then I'll have like my noise canceling headphones that I'll use.
That is really, it's the best thing in the world, right? Like playing along to songs.
Yeah,
it really is. I mean, when we're done, I'll refresh my coffee and come back in here and start playing along. I mean, I started on the pandemic, trying to make my rehearsals count more. And so I was like, I would create playlists or things that I needed to accomplish. I run through, Sam, I try to run through some music myself, not music books, like drum books. But
yeah.
I do that, like, you know, I want to run through the first 10 pages of, you know, Stick Control or something, you know what I mean? Like some book that I want to go after. So you just, but yeah, you got to find your thing. I played along to music. no matter what happens, even if I have a regimented schedule that I'm trying to follow, going back and putting on like a Descendants record or like any whatever, I don't care, a country record, just playing along to music, there's really nothing better. There's a lot of people that don't do that. I mean, maybe more so, I find more so now, but when I was growing up and teaching drums and stuff like that, a lot of kids like, do you play along to music? And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like,
Yeah.
like, you put on, and that, this is in the days of like Walkmans and stuff, you know, like, you have iPods. So you put on your Walkman, you put the tape in, you play along to it.
And like now it's now it's easier because you can look at like you can look at like tabs like that, or
yeah.
just like watch somebody play along to it, and it's like, okay, I'll try to.
No, there's that. So I go onto YouTube. There's all sorts of like drumless stuff on there.
Yeah.
Cool. Like a lot of it's like churchy and gospel and stuff like that. Fusion, a lot of and it's just cool. Like it's just lends you to like play, to think out of the box, take you out of what your comfortability zone, you know, of punk rock or whatever you're playing, and puts you somewhere different, a little more challenging. So yeah, best thing in the world. Love it. Love playing along this stuff.
Yeah.
Love it. So what are you guys what's your schooling like this coming up? Are you guys going back, or are you going to be doing virtual schooling?
Online.
Yeah, virtual until the end of January, I think they said.
Yeah.
Oh wow. How do you guys feel about that?
I'm almost kind of relieved, to be honest.
Mixed feelings.
Yeah.
Because now my whole curiosity is the fact that before they had like a week to plan what we were gonna do.
Yeah, like last year was a shit show.
Yeah, like it was, everybody was just confused. You know, like the teachers, like I was impressed. They did as much as they could, but I think everybody was confused because we were getting a lot of mixed symbols. And now it's like they have months to plan. They're going to get it right how they want it. And I think it's going to be a lot more like normal schooling. Yeah. So I'm almost like nervous, like to see what's going to happen. I'm excited at the same time though.
Because they
a real school at home.
Yeah.
Because on the 12th of March, they were like, oh yeah, tomorrow's your last day. So they had a day to plan that. And they were like, it was almost like busy work, pretty much.
Yeah.
They were like, because it was supposed to just be a 2-week thing. And then everybody realized that Trump was in office. So
that's part of what I speak of when I say you guys are the youth and we're counting on you. Stuff, right?
Yeah, I'm honest about political opinions.
Yeah.
The president is not the best.
Yeah.
You could see it because your parents told you never go under the sink in the kitchen and drink any of that crap that I have under there. That cleans the floors. So don't do that, Dom. But then the president goes, Dom, go under the sink and all that stuff.
You drink that hydroxychloroquine.
It's going to wipe this out. And you're like, no, I'm too old. I know that. How do you? No.
The part that got me the most is he's like, hey, go drink these chemicals, but I'm not going to wear a mask at any of my rallies. It's like.
Apparently this like huge Trump supporter went to the rally and got the coronavirus and then died.
Yeah.
And
it just kind of shows the precautions taken there.
Yeah. Yes. And I'm sure there was somebody that goes, how could he die? And,
he went to some rally.
Yeah.
There's my dog.
He can't go to concerts, but he can hold a rally.
Yeah.
And of course they have it like pretty much sorted out in every other part of the world. Like Frank Turner is playing shows.
Yeah. They're a good dude.
I mean, Europe went from being, like Italy, you know, that was like a hot spot for a long time. Now they're like not even 10,000 cases, and it's like they did something right.
Yeah.
Youth knows. Even you guys know. Even you guys are smart enough to know. So that's super cool that you're like stoked on doing the schooling at home. You know what I mean? Like that's rad. It's at least your enthusiasm is up. It hasn't waned at all, and you're bored with it. You're stoked to kind of keep learning, keep doing. I mean, you can still keep doing this, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll chat.
It makes that easier, is that we're not going to have to go to school, then come back, then do an interview, then do this and that.
Yeah. And that's kind of the reason that I'm almost relieved by this, like by the virtual learning, because it's like, well, usually our normal time is 3:30 for people. We were like, well, what are we gonna do? We get off of school at 3:00. And I'm like,
because
I'm supposed to ride the 20-minute bus ride back home, print everything out, and then
because we're starting to like get more consistent interviews, and it's really great. And then school starts in like 3 weeks, and it's like
everything that we've, I guess, worked towards has just,
it's like might have to stop, and I'm just glad that it doesn't have to yet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I'm gonna go through my stuff. You and I will all stay in touch. I'll send you some names, and if pick through some names if you want, and I'll like start. You can be like, go try to get this dude first, and I'll help you get some people, like kind of just exactly how Dougie,
because
that's how the community works, man. Everybody loves each other. We're all the same. We all bleed.
Yep.
Yeah, he just said, like, send me a list of 15 names, and then he was like, well, Brian Baker's gonna be difficult.
Right, and then like literally not even like 30 minutes later, he's like, so and so's a yes. He just lists like 6 people that already have their emails to us, and we're like,
he was like, Bill Stevenson is a yes, and I like peed my pants.
We just FaceTimed each other, like,
and then he was like, this person is a yes, this person is a yes, and my dad was like, I'm just waiting for Milo to say that that's a yes, so I don't know.
And then Milo said yes, and your dad was like, wait, what?
It's like,
yeah.
That's awesome. Well, seriously, anything I could do for you guys, if you ever need anything, touch back. We can do this again.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Youth, man, you guys, it's awesome. I love that what you guys are doing. It's even cooler that, one's a punk drummer and one's a classical violinist. So like that's rad. Because you really though can interview so many different people. You know what I mean? Like, I have a French trumpet player named Rolf that has played in so many ska and reggae bands that like I'm gonna get a hold of and see what he says. It's just people, man. I mean, there's so many good people for you to talk to, and it's just awesome you guys are doing this. Again, it's a positive thing. You're staying busy and doing it's just rad. It's awesome. Your folks are cool. Thank your folks for me. High five. High five. Thank you, folks, because this you guys being super cool is because of your folks.
Yeah.
So whenever you think how cool I am, you go up and hug your mom and dad and go, thanks for making me so cool. Thanks for being so cool. Seriously, it's cool, and I love it. So it's super cool. But again, Don, because I have your email, so you and I.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we're friends on Facebook too.
Oh, right. Then let's do that. Yeah, well, let's just stay in touch. Send me a message, but I'll send you another message. Again, I'll find some dudes, and I'll just go. I mean, once I'm done rehearsing tonight, I'll go through my phone and I'll find 5 or 6, 10 dudes or something. And I'll, put out feelers to everybody, and whoever gets back to me, I'll send them your way.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys are awesome. Super awesome. It's
Thank
a pleasure
you.
to do this. It was super awesome. And let's do it again.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Seriously. Awesome. Thanks again for having me.
Of course.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.